I'm the company manager for Make It Happen. We're here today in the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh, and we're on the set for Make It Happen. You can see our set consists of pillars that move throughout the performances and lots of blocks on the sides. And we've got a stage here with treads coming down the front of the set as well. We've got a couple of rostras that move. So this rostra here lifts up. The premise behind it is that the rostra lifts with the rise of RBS and Fred Goodwin, and then as he falls and as RBS falls, the set starts to fall with him. So this one moves up and down during the show, as does this one here. So they move to different heights and then go back down when we end up in Calton Hill at the end of the show. It's quite a plain painted set, you'll see. We've got lots of video in this production, designed by Lewiston Hertog. He's done a beautiful job. So all these blocks, there's 5 projectors in total that project onto the set. These pillars are projected on quite a lot. They've also got internal lighting on them, so they will light up different colours. There's a scene where RBS are trying to buy NatWest and there's the votes, and you can see the lights going up with the votes. There's also things appear inside these boxes as well. I'm not allowed to tell you how that happens, but there's magically things will appear from there as well. We've got 54 scenes in this show, which is quite a lot for a show like this. So we have to make the set. Anna, who designed the set, has designed it in such a way that it will work for lots of different scenes and lots of different scenarios. So as an example, this big box here becomes number 10 Downing Street by projecting the 10 Downing Street door, and sort of hints at where we are in scenes like that. There's lots of tricks in this show, lots of it's a little bit of illusion, none of which I'm allowed to talk about. I've been embargoed on that, I'm afraid, but I can show you a few things that we do. During the show, there is, as RBS's world domination takes full effect, the idea is that Fred Goodwin is holding the world in his hands, and so we have various different globes. This is the smallest one, so it appears as Fred Goodwin pulls out of the stage. There's a smoke machine underneath this stage and some lights, so this has been internally lit as well, so it's got a light pack and a battery pack inside it. And this is a sort of little perspex lid that goes over the top of it, so he can stash it out. In the scene where Fred cuts down the tree is inside the box, and then there's some projection happens on the front of this pillar, and then lighting take over as well on the stage, where we've built in an LED strip into the stage here. It's been kind of disguised to blend into the floor, but once it lights up, you can see it start to appear in the stage. Another quite smart trick that the video team have done is there's a scene with world leaders where it's meant to be like a zoom. In the show, their faces appear all over the set, like a live zoom. So we've got 3 live cameras on the set. The cast are still on stage when they're doing that, and all the video work is done live. So this is one of the live cameras that we have on the set, so that the cast stand in the right position and all the live feed comes from that, but then they project it so it looks huge on the stage. There's one on that side as well, and then there's one hidden in the wing, so they all stand in different positions to try and catch that. So we're going to head into stage left, which if you were sitting in the audience would be auditorium right. In stage left we've got prompt corner. So sometimes people would call this prompt side as well, but this is prompt corner. Emma, who's our DSM, or Deputy Stage Manager, would be our full title. She works from here. Emma's got the book. This is the prompt copy. This is sort of the Bible of the show. It has all the lighting cues, the sound cues, all the script. It has all the blocking, so where the actors move on the set. So this is like, if we lost this, there's no show. And Emma cues all the lights. This is a standby light, so that gives somebody a warning it's not switched on just now. But normally that would flash, somebody will push it so we know that they're standing by, and then they get a green light for a go. So you can see she's written that's lighting, sound, video, and MD is for our musical director, so she can stand him by at the top of the show. So this is Sound Corner. We have 16 cast and 2 musical directors who both play keys in the show. All the cast are mic'd, so it's quite busy for the team. This is all the receivers here. You'll see there's some headphones there. During the show, they'll be listening to all the mics. So if somebody's mic gets a little bit sweaty, perhaps, which does happen, they know when the cast member comes off, they need to have a look at it. So they might spray it or try and dry it out a bit to try and make sure we don't get any interference with the sound, just so we get a clean show. And then we're going into upstage left here. This is lighting control. They don't control from here, but there's all their equipment's here. They'll control from front of house so they can see if there's any issues. And then we are at the stage left. This is what we call a props trundle. So this is stage management domain. You can see this has basically got lots of props in it. We tour this. It does have doors normally, they've been taken off for this purpose. So when we tour, we basically pack all the props in here and we shut the door, and it's great, and then we just open it and then it becomes essentially our props tables. So all the props get set in the same place every night, so the cast know exactly where to find everything. You'll probably recognise some stuff from the play. So here's the flags. This is when there's the changing of the board in the show. These have got magnets on it, and the cast costumes have got magnets on it as well, so they stick on, so they look a bit like netball bibs. So they represent board, and then when the board gets sacked and Fred Goodwin replaces them, they get switched over to the new board. These are some of the masks from the Furies from the right at the start. So these actually all get preset in the flies. So we bring the fly bar in before the show and we hook these on to there's all these hooks on the bar. And then when they fly in the opening gallery scene, the cast unhook them and put them on from there. So these are the champagne glasses. You'll see that they're painted so that we don't have to put any liquids on stage. So it looks like they're champagne at them from a distance. Got the RBS folders that when Fred sort of takes over from RBS, with all the props, everything comes blue. There's RBS ties. He was all about the branding. So we're still standing in stage left. We're a bit further on stage behind the masking. And we're just at the bottom of the stairs up to Niall, who's our musical director's little box that he plays in, conducts from, and also controls any music tracks that we have during the show. Niall has a live camera feed that runs to the screens that are sit in front of the circle in the auditorium, and what that means is the cast can see that. He can conduct when they need to start. So if there's certain cue points that they need for the music to start, he'll conduct them from there so he can see them. So there's a live camera feed, and Niall does the sound from there. So it's quite a cute little box. It's got gauze on the front of it, which is a sort of type of material that means if you light on the front of the gauze, we won't see him at all. And so sometimes we project onto the front of it during the show and you can't see him at all. And then other points he's actually lit on the other side of the gauze, so the side of gauze that he's on, and that means we can see him. So sometimes you'll see him and Gabe, who's the assistant MD and has his own box on stage right. There's certain points of the show where we felt like the team felt like they wanted to see the boys there. So yeah, so that's the musical director's box. So we're upstage at the moment. I can see the audience at the moment, so I wouldn't normally be in this position. But we're behind the large pillars that are upstage. A lot of the crew do certain pillar moves because all these pillars are on wheels. And you can see on the stage here that there's some marks that are different colours. And then there's a very handy little guide on the back of this column here. I don't know if you can see it, but one is the yellow mark, so that's the first move. The second move is the orange marks. So at the right point of the cue, the crew will be behind here and they'll move the pillars to the orange marks. And then the third marks, the final marks for the end of the show, are these green marks. Because it's so in view, the stage team are in full full show blacks, as we would call it, or ninjas. So they're nicknamed the ninjas on this show because they're in full balaclavas, black gloves, so that they can come on, move the pillars without being seen. So the only thing you can see are the whites of their eyes, essentially. You can see there's different things in the backs of these pillars as well that work for different things during the show that I won't give away too much of the illusion of. So upstage left we have the controls for the automated lifts. So Will, who looks after automation, lives here. You can see he's got a screen so that he can see the stage. Safety is a big thing when you're using automation because it's essentially machinery. So if somebody gets in the way of a lift as it's coming down, you don't want a foot to get trapped or a toe. So Will can see on the screen if any of the cast get too close to it. Obviously it's all very well rehearsed, so the cast should know what they're doing, but if they ever did do anything. He also has a line of sight here as well, so you can physically see it. And then there's a secondary camera where he can physically see a sort of top view of the lifts as well from a safety point of view. Should anybody get to the wrong position and be where they shouldn't be as the lift's coming down, this big red stop will stop the lift, so all he has to do is hit it and the lifts will stop moving, and hopefully make sure nobody gets hurt. So we're going to go from stage left upstage, so we're going behind the set now. You can see this is all the power for the lift, the automation lifts. And these are quick change areas in here as well, so the cast, when they're doing costume changes, will come in here and do that. And then we're moving into stage right, so we're now in stage right, and I'm going to take you down to Sandy Batchelor, who's in the cast and plays Alistair Darling. Now, Alistair Darling is probably, other than being an MP, is also very famous for having quite distinctive eyebrows. So Sandy in the cast, this is his eyebrow quick change area. In 25 years of doing this job, I don't think I've ever had an eyebrow quick change area. So Ola, who does our wigs and makeup, she's here and she attaches the eyebrows onto Sandy when he's being Alistair Darling, which he switches between roles. So he has lots of eyebrows during the shows. So there's quite a lot of them here. And you can see when he's doing different roles, here's Sandy's ties. So when he's not playing Alistair Darling and doing RBS, he's there. And then there's different ones. So this is his Alistair Darling glasses and ties. So when he's Alistair Darling, he's wearing that tie and glasses. And then when he's playing his RBS character, he's got an RBS tie, and there's some of his costumes. So this is the eyebrow quick change area.
I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin, somewhere to begin, somewhere to begin.